Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. And this time we're taking a quick, but hopefully insightful look into the world of hiring Apache Tapestry developers.
Yeah. It's a niche area, lots to unpack, even in a short amount of time.
Exactly, a mini deep dive, if you will. So you're interested in bringing a Tapestry developer onto your team. We want to help you do that, do that with confidence.
And we're really lucky to have some awesome insights from theperfectdeveloper.com to help us with that. Actually, before we even get started, I highly, HLY, recommend their 5 questions tool.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so first things first, what exactly is Apache Tapestry?
Well, think about all those awesome, dynamic web applications you see everywhere, e-commerce sites, those cool interactive dashboards, even some really complex enterprise systems. That's what Apache Tapestry is all about. It's a framework that's specifically designed to build those types of web applications.
So it's a specialized toolbox for Java developers, would you say?
Yeah, exactly. And what really sets Tapestry apart, what makes it special, it's this focus on component-based development. Imagine, building with Legos.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Instead of, writing every single line of code from scratch, developers get to use these pre-built components, those Lego blocks, to put together applications that are not only robust, but super maintainable.
So less reinventing the wheel, more focusing on the big picture.
You got it. And this approach, not only does it speed up development, but it also makes those applications much easier to maintain and update down the road.
And that's huge.
Huge. Now, here's where things can get a little, tricky for some folks. Tapestry developers versus just your regular Java developer.
Yeah, that's something I've definitely wondered about myself.
Right. It's a really common misconception. See, all Tapestry developers are Java developers, right?
Makes sense.
But not all Java developers know Tapestry. It's a specialized skill set, and theperfectdeveloper.com really emphasizes this distinction.
Okay, so if I'm looking to hire someone, what are those special skills that make a Tapestry developer stand out?
Well, first and foremost, they need to have a really deep understanding of this component-based development we were talking about.
Right, the Legos.
Yeah. And this is really important because it impacts how they structure their code, how they make it more reusable and efficient. They're not just coding wizards, they're architects.
Masters of design.
Exactly. And Tapestry is often used for those applications with really rich user interfaces.
Right.
So they need a strong grasp of those front-end technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Yeah, because a clunky user interface can totally ruin a great application, no matter how good the code is.
Oh, absolutely. And it doesn't stop there. Often they also need experience with other Java frameworks like Spring and Hibernate. Those are really common, often used alongside Tapestry.
To handle things like what? Data and security?
You got it. So you need someone who can integrate all these different pieces, to create a complete solution. And honestly, we're just scratching the surface here.
There's even more.
Oh, yeah. Theperfectdeveloper.com, they point out that essential skills also include database knowledge, performance optimization, and of course, really solid understanding of version control and all those best practices for professional development.
Okay, so we're talking about a seriously well-rounded skill set.
Yeah.
So let's talk money. What kind of salary am I looking at for someone with all this talent?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And the answer, as with most things, is it depends.
Of course.
But theperfectdeveloper.com, they do have these really helpful regional breakdowns.
Yeah.
So you can at least get a ballpark figure. Just for example, a junior Tapestry developer here in the US, let's say with 2 years of experience, they could be earning something between $60,000 and $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
But that's really just a starting point,
Right. Experience, location, how complex the project is, that all plays a role.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And don't forget, those are just base salaries. Bonuses, benefits, perks, those can add up big time.
Right.
If you're looking for more personalized salary insights, well, theperfectdeveloper.com can help you there too. They're awesome like that.
Fantastic. Well, we've covered a lot of ground already, haven't we?
We have. We talked about what Tapestry is, all those unique skills that Tapestry developers bring, even got into those salary expectations.
Right.
Now, though, we've got to talk about, how do you actually hire one of these developers?
Right, because there's so many different ways to go about that.
Yeah. Full-time, part-time, build an in-house team, or even jump into the world of outsourcing. Each has its pros and cons. Lots to consider.
Definitely. And that's exactly what we're going to do in our next segment. We'll unpack all of those options. It will be drawing on those awesome insights from, you guessed it, theperfectdeveloper.com.
Before we jump into all that, though, why don't you head over to theperfectdeveloper.com and try out their 5 questions tool.
That's a great idea. It's a fantastic way to really get clear on what you need and to start your search for, well, the perfect developer.
Exactly.
Welcome back to our deep dive on hiring Apache Tapestry developers. So we talked about all those technical skills that really make a Tapestry developer stand out. But I got to ask, what about those soft skills?
Oh, you are so right. Technical skills, totally important. Foundation, even. But those soft skills, those interpersonal qualities, those can really make or break a project, especially when you're trying to build a high-performing team.
Absolutely. So what kind of soft skills should we be looking for when we're, checking out Tapestry developers?
Communication is at the top of the list.
Definitely.
And theperfectdeveloper.com. I totally agree.
Oh, yeah. A developer who can, really articulate their ideas, explain complex things in a way that, everyone understands. That's gold, especially now with so much remote work. Clear communication is, essential.
It's not just talking, either. It's about listening, being receptive to feedback, really fostering that environment where everyone feels comfortable sharing their thoughts.
Collaboration, that's got to be a thing too, right?
Huge. Tapestry projects, almost never solo endeavors. You need someone who can, work well with others, integrate seamlessly into a team.
No lone wolves.
Nope. You need team players who are comfortable sharing what they know. And I think adaptability is another big one. Tech moves so fast.
Oh, yeah.
New technologies pop up all the time. Frameworks change, client demands shift. A Tapestry developer who can roll with those punches, someone who's eager to learn, priceless.
So true. Okay, so we know what soft skills to look for, but how do you actually assess them during an interview? It's not always as easy as testing coding skills, right?
You're right. It's a bit more nuanced. But luckily, theperfectdeveloper.com, they've got some great tips. They recommend focusing on those behavioral interview questions, where you ask the candidate to describe specific situations from their past work.
So real life examples, not hypothetical stuff.
Exactly. Gives you a much better sense of their actual behavior, how they might fit within your team.
Love that. Getting beyond the rehearsed answers. Theperfectdeveloper.com also talked about scenario-based exercises.
Yeah. That's where you might present the candidate with a hypothetical problem, something related to a Tapestry project. Ask them to walk you through their thought process, how they'd approach a solution.
A mini simulation almost.
Exactly. You get to see their problem-solving skills in action, how they think critically, apply their Tapestry knowledge to real-world stuff.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's say we've assessed the soft skills. The big question, of course, is salary. How do we approach that conversation, that negotiation with a potential Tapestry developer?
It can be tricky, right? But theperfectdeveloper.com, they emphasize doing your research first. Understand what those market rates are for Tapestry developers in your area. Consider the candidate's experience, how complex the project is.
Be prepared.
Exactly. And once you have a ballpark figure, be upfront with the candidate. Talk about your budget, your expectations. Transparency is key.
Open communication, honesty, so important.
Absolutely. And, be flexible too. Maybe you can't meet their exact salary requirements, but perhaps you can offer some other perks or benefits. Flexible work hours, remote work options, professional development opportunities.
Find that win-win.
Where both sides feel good about the situation. Okay, let's fast forward a bit. We found our rockstar Tapestry developer. Everything's negotiated. They're about to start. What can we do to make that onboarding experience smooth? Those first few days, weeks, they can really set the tone.
That's so true. A good onboarding experience can make all the difference.
And theperfectdeveloper.com, they have a whole section just on this. Best practices for integrating new developers.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Clear communication is the foundation. The new developer needs to understand their role, the project goals, who they're reporting to. No one wants to feel lost on their first day, right? It's also about making them feel welcome, part of the team. Introduce them to everyone, set up their workspace, make sure they have access to all the tools they need.
All the little things.
Yes. And theperfectdeveloper.com, they also recommend a mentor or a buddy system.
Oh, like that.
Someone to answer questions, help them navigate the company culture.
The friendly face.
Exactly. And remember, onboarding isn't just a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. Regular feedback, opportunities to grow, a clear path for advancement.
It's an investment.
It is. Okay, before we head to our final segment where we'll really dig into building and managing a high-performing Tapestry team, especially a remote one, let's just take a moment. What are your biggest takeaways so far? What questions or challenges are you still thinking about?
Welcome back to our deep dive. So far, we've really focused on those individual skills and the hiring process. Now, I kind of want to zoom out a bit. Look at the big picture. How do you actually build and manage a thriving team of Tapestry developers, especially with so many teams working remotely these days?
Yeah, that's a big one. Lots of companies are grappling with that right now, this whole shift to remote work. But luckily, theperfectdeveloper.com, they've got some really good insights into building their strong teams, no matter where everyone's located.
Awesome. Okay, lay it on me.
They really emphasize, starting with a shared vision. It's not just about, giving people tasks. It's about making sure everyone understands the big picture,
Yeah.
the project's goals, its mission, how their individual work fits into the overall success.
Right, connecting that coding to a purpose.
Exactly. When developers feel like they're part of something meaningful, they're so much more engaged, And to achieve that sense of shared purpose, you got to have clear, consistent communication, especially when everyone's remote.
Makes sense. Can't just swing by someone's desk for a quick chat anymore.
Nope. Got to be really deliberate about those communication tools, setting up those regular check-ins, making sure people feel comfortable, asking questions, sharing ideas.
Yeah. Speaking of communication, theperfectdeveloper.com also mentioned something about cross-functional collaboration. What's that all about?
It's about breaking down those walls that sometimes exist between different teams. Get those Tapestry developers interacting with the designers, the testers, the project managers, even the marketing folks.
The more holistic approach.
Exactly. Get all those ideas flowing. Leads to more innovation and, fewer miscommunications down the line.
Got it. Okay, so shared vision, communication, cross-functional collaboration. What else is on theperfectdeveloper.com's list for a high-performing team?
Tools. Got to have the right tools. There's a ton of software out there, project management stuff, communication platforms, collaboration tools, all designed to keep everyone, in sync.
It can be overwhelming for sure. Any favorites that theperfectdeveloper.com mentioned?
Oh, yeah. They're big fans of tools that boost both efficiency and collaboration.
Yeah.
So think Jira, Slack, Asana, and of course you can't forget GitHub for all that version control and code sharing.
Creating that virtual workspace, essentially.
Exactly. Okay, so now you've got your team, you've got your tools. But how do you actually measure performance when everyone's remote? You can't exactly see who's at their desk, right?
Right. It's different.
For sure. Theperfectdeveloper.com recommends setting up clear metrics and goals right from the start, and then having those regular check-ins to track progress and give feedback.
And that feedback should be, both positive and constructive. Celebrate the wins, but also identified areas for improvement.
Absolutely. Oh, and one final thing they emphasized, continuous learning, making sure those skills are always sharp. The tech world moves so fast. So training, workshops, conferences, or even just encouraging people to share knowledge within the team. That's crucial.
A culture of continuous improvement.
That's it. So, building a high-performing Tapestry team, especially a remote one, it's got a lot of moving parts. But, shared vision, communication, the right tools, good performance management, and that commitment to learning, those are your keys to success.
This has been awesome. I feel like we've covered so much in such a short amount of time.
We have.
From those basic skills all the way to building a thriving development team. I think our listeners now have a really good foundation to, make those informed decisions.
And remember, theperfectdeveloper.com, they're a fantastic resource for all of this.
Don't forget to check out their website, try out their 5 questions tool. It's a great way to, get those personalized recommendations and find the right talent, to really bring your web app vision to life.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.